Hi, and welcome to the November session of Voice of the CDFA. My name is Carol Lee Roberts. I'm the president of the Institute for Divorce Financial Analysts. And joining me today is Karen Sparks. Karen is a CDFA professional. She is also a Juris Doctorate, and I should have asked before we started, but are you a licensed attorney or a recovering attorney or previously an attorney?
So good morning, everyone, and good morning, Curly. Happy to be here. No, I am not a practicing attorney, not licensed to do so. I did attend law school and attend my law and obtain my law degree, but it walks alongside my financial practice really well. It marries really well. So not recovering and not practicing, none of the above.
Well, thank you for clarifying that for me. One of the things that we have been discussing through these series of podcasts are the different paths that people take to become a CDFA professional and what it is about working with clients going through divorce that have attracted them to the profession. So do you mind sharing your story with us?
Not at all. I came to this in a very interesting way. You mentioned the law degree before. I sort of had a path that I was on, but that path was rerouted due to life circumstances. So then I pivoted and worked in a variety of firms, intellectual property, family law, personal injury, both in Northern and Southern California. I also went through my own divorce a number of years ago as well. And then I pivoted to do some work in the financial sector. So how does all this come together? During my work in the legal field in particular, and particularly my family law firms that I worked for, I was just very interested in how resolutions were come to, how did they get there? And there were some interesting things that I saw were sometimes missing from that process or maybe there was too much of something and not enough of another. As I continued to sort of progress post-divorce myself and move into financial work as a CFO and whatnot, I would just continue to hear these comments from colleagues and people I knew about how unsatisfied they were, right, with the settlement and everything that went with it, right? So I started to think about this a lot and started to think about how I could use my expertise in this area and what I would need to do to become qualified to really be a voice in this space and really help people come to these decisions in a more informed and affirmed manner. And so I became aware of the designation of the IDFA, and I sought that training and received my certification and began my practice in 2010, at the end of 2010. And so for me, it's a passion for education, it's a passion for knowledge, it's a passion for people coming through this season of their life in the best way possible, even though this is a disruption that no one plans to have. So that's what really sort of drew me to the subject and to helping clients in this space.
I know that in addition to being a CDFA professional, you've also been a member of our board of directors. You're currently in your third year on our board. And you have also worked with another organization, the Association of Divorce Financial Planners. Can you talk a little bit about why you're so interested in giving back to the profession rather than simply trucking along in your own little firm?
You know, I really appreciate the opportunity that this has given me. I really appreciate the connections and respect the professional connections that I've made here in my current position as a board member for IDFA and also in my association with the Association of Divorce Financial Planners. I really felt that this designation has allowed me to grow in a way I never thought that I could. I wanted to be able to be someone that could be sought out by others entering the profession. I wanted to help others not make some of I don't want to say mistakes, but I want to help people enter this profession without unnecessary speed bumps. I want to be able to answer questions like people were able to answer questions for me if they come upon tough cases or things that they're dealing with. And I just wanted to be in that space because I'm so appreciative of being able to serve the way that I have and been able to be blessed to have the practice that I do have. So that's what motivated me to step to this current iteration on the board of IDFA and my previous association with ADFP.
I know that each professional that I've spoken to, I've asked a couple of questions like, what do you wish you had known when you started that you know now? Not necessarily what mistakes you made, but what would have been maybe a better entry point? And what do you wish the public knew more about what a CDFA professional can do?
I think what I wish I had known more was more of an emphasis on communication skills. I try to do my best to be authentic and to make sure that what I'm saying is clear. But in this space of transition that folk are in, I think what I would have wished I had worked on a little bit more was that communication when I was in client meetings, in negotiations, things of that nature. Not that what I felt that I did was not appropriate or people didn't receive it well. I just felt like I wish I had had stronger tools to deal with the emotionality at the very beginning. That's been corrected in years past, but how to deal with some of the things that do pop up that are human nature in these meetings, and to handle those a little bit better. So that's something that I wish I'd known at the beginning. I did get that over the years and through experience, but I wish I'd had a little bit more intro into how to really do that. What do I wish the public really knew about what do I wish the public knew? I wish the public, when they're in this season of divorce and separation, would really focus on understanding the importance of the finance discussion here. Divorce and separation is a very reactionary space that you're in. It's very emotional, very reactionary. And so you're taking steps here, taking steps there. There's a lot of noise in your world. And I wish people would focus on this because the decisions that are made here inform everything else the rest of the professionals are going to be a part of and helping you be a part of, right? So I would wish, and I'm seeing a little bit more of that happening, as a matter of fact. But I wish people would do more of that because that's going to make that journey a little less stressful when you're educated about what you need to be doing, when you're getting that proper advice, when you're looking at those scenarios, you're figuring out those scenarios. All that leads to a better space in a very emotional transition.
What is the one thing that you've learned over the last years that stands out most to you? The most surprising thing about people going through divorce?
I think one of the things that continues to surprise me is within families and within partnerships, how much this subject of finance is actually not dealt with in a real sense. How during the course of the relationship, things just sort of ride on. There's very few check-ins on where everything stands. It doesn't matter what your socioeconomic level is. There's just no checkpoint between partners. What I'm surprised to understand is that key documents are being signed, like tax returns, without even knowing what's in it. You know, the tax return is put in front of someone and they're like, okay, it's ready, sign it. So I think just this lack of governance over finance in the relationship, and it doesn't have to be at a high level or something really needy, but I'm just, when they get to this space of divorce and separation, the amount of I don't knows is large. It's large. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how could you not know this? Or how could you not be exposed to it? So I think that's it for me. And it continues to be it for me, actually.
I think working in the fields we've chosen, that is a huge surprise. I remember reading that when certain norms across all levels of society, the fear of public speaking, and also the lack of willingness to discuss finance. I forget how large the study was, but people in
Oh,
general
wow.
are more willing to talk about death, sex, health, you name it, other than finances. And I was speaking with some friends over the weekend, and not only do we as a society not discuss finances very much, but we've also made this pivot where we've gone away from pension and long-term employment that provides for you in retirement to people
Mm-hmm.
being expected to save for their own retirement. At the same time, we took all financial literacy and consumer education out of the schools. It's
You've
like,
just hit it. You've hit so many of these things right here. Exactly. Exactly. And to add on to what you've just said, the technology. What are young children seeing when their parents are out taking care of things? There's a tap, there's a card, there's a tap. Is there anything connected with that card tap? I mean, that's how they see things getting paid for.
Right.
There isn't any sense of what's behind that. Is there any money to really support that? All they know is tap and go, tap, go, tap, go. So I would add that to your list of the lack of financial literacy, particularly for our children coming up in our college students as well. Yeah, I agree.
As part of your service on our board, you had helped craft our diversity and inclusion statement that now is on prominently on the homepage of the Institute for Divorce Financial Analysts. Can you speak a little bit about why diversity and inclusion was an important part of
Yeah,
your
I have no
efforts?
problem doing that. Yeah, I was first of all, I want to extend my gratitude and appreciation to IDFA for recognizing that and working with me to get the statement up. It's important to me not because of the color of my skin or my gender. It's important to me from a position of humanity and making sure that all persons have access. In the financial industry, I've just seen some statistics overall, Carolee. Just women and individuals of color are not highly represented in the financial services industry. And I wanted to, I guess, be the voice, or at least try to be the voice, uh, to make sure that these spaces are safe spaces for people of color to come into, for people of color and for women to feel included and want to be here, that this is a space that they should serve in, that they should feel proud to get trained to serve in. And so it was very important to me as a part of this organization and in previous organizations to make sure that I did what I could to bring that. And I'm very pleased to see from our past conference in Dallas that we just had in September. I'm pleased to see some of that coming to the fore. So that made me feel real good to
Well,
know that that was.
I I take no pride or responsibility for this fact because I believe they both predate me being part of IDFA. But CDFA professionals are currently 68% identify themselves as female, which is massive in the financial services industry that has been pretty well stuck at 20% female representation for a
That's
very
true.
long time. And I was very pleased at our most recent conference in Dallas. I had someone walk up to me and say, this is the first conference I've ever been to for financial services where there were other people who looked like me. And I thought that
Beautiful.
was such a heartwarming statement. And I think, the fact that divorce for a long time has been equated with a female issue, it is
Correct.
part of the reason behind that. But I also think just a lot of the skill sets that women develop in working collaboratively and asking directions and that type of thing lends this to be a good fit for a female financial advisor.
There is no question for it. The skill set that we can bring in, each gender brings their own skill set to the table. But the skill set that women and people of color can bring to this discussion is huge, Carolee. I mean, the statistics show that, in the next 20, 30 years, the demographics of our country are going to be changing dramatically due to immigration and other things and folk just settling here. And so they will be entering this divorce space at some point. And so just knowing that there's a breadth and depth of gender and color that can serve the community well and that the community feels comfortable with when they're going through a transition like this is very important.
Okay, any final thought for our audience? I do want to thank you so much for your time this morning.
Yeah, my final thoughts are these. I encourage particularly women to pursue what is in their spirit, to make sure that they establish correct boundaries for themselves personally and professionally, to realize that no is a complete sentence, and to understand that what they're seeking is valid, what they're wanting to do is good. And at the end of the day, you need to focus on your fulfillment. And if you're in divorce in the separation space, please make sure that you build your team, that you have the people around you that can really get you through this the best way. So that's what I would say in conclusion.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here.